The youth movement has helped the Falcons pass rush this year, but can it help boost their secondary against the Seattle Seahawks?
You are Locked On Falcons, your daily Atlanta Falcons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everyone, to another illustrious episode of the Locked On Falcons podcast, your daily Atlanta Falcons podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And of course, the Locked On Podcast Network is now the #1 sports podcast network in America, which means it's #1 in the world. That's how we roll in America. If you're #1 here, you're #1 everywhere. And if you're #1 everywhere in the world, you're #1 in the galaxy. Okay, so Locked On, #1 sports podcast in the galaxy. And we thank each and every one of you that is an everydayer of the podcast that makes it #1 in the galaxy. Humans supporting humans in this Milky Way galaxy. And all you everydayers, that means you make this podcast your first listen each and every day. All you got to do to become an everydayer is subscribe or follow for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Today's Locked On Falcons is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. So today's episode, as you can already tell, we're already sort of jumping off the rails because we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons. And because the Atlanta Falcons don't really give us a ton of compelling things to talk about, we'll see how we can just steer this bad boy off of its tracks, as you guys well know, with me, myself, and my guest, Jarvis Davis, as we often do towards the end of the episode. But we'll see if we can get that thing going at the beginning of the episode. But we'll talk about this upcoming matchup between the Falcons and Seahawks and how their young pass rushers are going to help them win this game. And we'll talk about if we think they're capable of doing that. And speaking of young players on defense, we'll talk a little bit about sort of the dichotomy between the Falcons, maybe looking for some youth to help them out in terms of long-term future because they don't have a ton of assets to get significantly better in 2026. If you heard my Terry Fontenot rant earlier this week, you know what I'm talking about. And so do you balance trying to see what you have in these young pieces over the last 5 games, or do you do the thing that most teams typically do, which is we got to win football games because we're on the hot seat in terms of the coaching staff? So that will be another topic of conversation. But Jarvis, looking ahead to Sunday's action between the Falcons and Seahawks, this Seahawks team has been playing good football. Having had a conversation with Locked On Seahawks host Corbin Smith, it's one of those situations where he noted it, like Seattle doesn't play down to their competition, right? And you're going to need the Falcons really to play up to their competition. And they've played some good games against some quality opponents this year. They haven't always finished those games in the ways that you want them to. But we'll see if the Falcons can sort of rise up, as it were, pun intended, to face the Seahawks team. But I think if they're going to really have a chance to win this game, it's got to go back similar to what we saw in that impressive win in Week 6, where that Falcons pass rush was really able to get after Josh Allen. That game, it was really the blitz. This game, we'll see if it's going to be more of the 4-man rush that we've seen a lot more of the last couple of weeks, or will they be able to dial up the blitz in similar ways as what Brian Flores and that Vikings defense was able to do last week? But for me, it feels like this defensive line with some of the young pieces, James Pierce, Jalen Walker, Leonard Floyd, Arnold Ebiketie, Bruce Roro, Brandon Dorlus, these guys have to come alive against the Seahawks offensive line that I think has outperformed expectations. You looked at it going into the season. I know a lot of people were like, this offensive line is a little questionable. There's some iffy parts of it, but I think they've done a great job of sort of scheming to hide whatever deficiencies they have. And basically all that to say, I feel like the Falcons have to expose those deficiencies this week if they're going to have any chance to win this game.
Oh, I absolutely agree. Because when you think about how you think about the Clint Kubiak system, think about Sam Darnold and what his deficiencies have been in the past and the reason why he's on his 4th team, right now at this moment. So when you think about it from that standpoint, when you give him too much time, that means you give him time to make bad decisions, and when you start seeing ghosts, that's when he is a guy that can make those bad decisions for you. So I feel like Clint is implementing a system where he gets the ball out quickly. Obviously, that's going to help out your offensive lineman tremendously. The less time you have to block, the better you are going to be as a unit. So I think they're going to have to use some pressure. It's like some different looks, like a mug look, and try to throw those guys off to get them in the wrong protection. And a guy comes free and then sack the quarterback. I think that's going to be the way how they get home. And obviously, man, you kind of have to look at it from a standpoint of who or what they're going to look like, right? Talk about the mug look and trying to confuse and throw off their offensive line from a protection standpoint. Also, need better games from guys like Ruka Rororo. You need better games from guys like Brandon Doyles, because we know we're talking about young guys, man, because they'll have those good games. And you're like, oh, man, these guys don't look like they're going to be all right. And then next thing you know, they disappeared. You got like these young guys like a stock market. So you're just trying to figure out where the floor is, where they're going to start to level off at. And I think that this is a game where if you're gonna shoot up, if you're gonna rise, this is the game to rise in because of the type of opponent that you're going up against.
Yeah, we saw these young guys really kind of dominate in that Saints game. And one of the questions I had last week was, thinking that the Jets offensive line was going to be a better unit than what they saw against the Saints. And, how much of a step back would they take? Like, you expected them to take a step back. Obviously, you wind up with 2 sacks. You are able to get effective pressure in that game. So I think the pass rush came to play last week, but not in the ways that they needed to be that sort of overwhelming unit rather than just being a plus. They kind of need to be a plus. And again, going up against a Seahawks team that is far more capable offensively, particularly when they have the best wide receiver in the NFL, based off of how Jackson and Smith and Jigba has played this year, that if you're going to prevent him from getting the football and terrorizing, we'll talk about the cornerback other than AJ Terrell in a moment later here on the podcast. But like, you don't want to be put in a situation where their number 1 wide receiver is going up against your number 2 cornerback, because that is not a good look for your team. And so you need your pass rush to really be that dominant unit in order to avoid those situations.
And when you think about it, just from a personnel standpoint, hey, man, you trying to justify this pick, baby. You got that first round pick in 2026. Like, hey, JP, need you to get there. I need you to get there. Hey, Jalen, you part of this too. Yeah. And look, and once both of y'all are getting there, hey, Xavier, I need when he lets it go, I need you to be there to pick this bad boy off too. So I think that, when you saw, you see guys like, and good, there's a good thing, the positive about it is we're not asking them to do anything that we haven't seen already. Like, these guys have put together some nice work in their rookie year. So like, these guys have been productive, man. So it's just the lows, which is expected. They have come, right? So I think that, putting yourself in position to make plays entails that front doing exactly what you need them to do, getting off the ball, getting pressure. Jalen Walker, I need you to be effective in the run game, because Clint gonna run that rock. Clint Kubiak gonna run the rock, like, just because, based off his last name alone. Like, his quarterback is gonna turn around and hand the ball off, because Sam Darnold can have a 4-pick game, like you go to the bathroom when you drink too much water. You know what I'm saying? So it can't happen. So I feel like, defensive line is going to have to do their job. And then once they start doing what they need to do, these DBs going to have to, specifically the safeties, Mr. Bates.
Mm.
By the way, are you listening and watching right now? Check out the reference that Mr. Aaron Freeman made on the Falcon Squad show on Thursday. It's a doozy. Yes. Please check it out if you missed it. So, yeah, that's what we call a horizontal tease, folks. But yeah, man. I think one of the things that needs to happen is this front and the back end of the defense is going to have to work in conjunction with each other to make sure Sam Darnold doesn't have a crazy day, because we know he's capable of that as well.
Yeah. You mentioned the positive play of the Falcons rookies. It has been devastating to my personal brand of being anti-rookie this year, with seeing James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker and Xavier Watts and Billy Bowman before his injury, playing as well as they did. I'm watching the film and I'm like, oh, I just want to hate so bad, but I can't do it so much. It's devastating to my personal brand. And another sort of devastating thing, you could add fuel to that, which is maybe we could see another rookie get some opportunities. And the question leads us to the conversation on whether or not this coaching staff should be leaning towards playing some of these young guys as a way to look to the future, or is it kind of in their best interest to try to play to the more short-term immediate present, because they kind of need to win games. And we'll break all that down as we continue today's Locked On Falcons. Now, we know that NFL Sundays move fast. You get one big play and then suddenly everything feels a little different. And that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place live bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. JSN going off, James Pierce Jr. going off, right? That momentum flip after Jesse Bates gets an interception, and FanDuel lets you jump into those moments with their live spreads and money lines that adjust instantly. The player props that go up and down as guys heat up. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. So I want to thank all of you that make Locked On Falcons and so many other shows across the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen each and every day. You are the reason why Locked On is now the #1 sports podcast network in the galaxy. So, Jarvis, we're talking about this youth movement for this Falcons team, and we'll talk a little bit more about the cornerback position specifically, but basically, Mike Hughes really struggled. He's been struggling for the last several weeks, but it just felt like something, him getting beat by like Emeka Egbuka and Jalen Waddle, to me was like, okay, like this is just kind of par for the course, I guess. Like, I'm not sitting there going like, oh, I can't believe he's getting cooked by these guys. But when A.D. Mitchell, and again, this is no shot at A.D. Mitchell, but for a player that has basically done nothing really in the NFL and was just kind of a throw-in for the Jets to basically say, well, we got to get something out of the Sauce Gardner trade immediately because we're not getting much.
Washington.
Yeah. I'm leaving here with something. So, and for him to just go out there and just like live up to every hype, and it was just like, I don't know, like, I don't like talking about players' mentality, but it did feel like Mike Hughes was just like kind of checked out in this game. And I get it. Like, I'm checked out on the Falcons season too, but like I'm not getting paid millions of dollars,
Right, exactly. Yeah, my whole thing is with Mike Hughes, man. Like, you played like you checked out. It's like you're not even trying. You get the deep ball thrown on you by A.D. Mitchell. I'm not gonna try to pronounce his first name. I think I've given up on that because I thought I had the pronunciation correct, but I was copying off what Kirby pronounced it. Don't I? Like, oh no, that's right. But anyway, yeah, man, you giving other fan bases hope, man. The way he played, he gave Jets fans hope. Like, ooh, maybe we got a steal with a Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't see the point. If you're gonna play like that, if you're gonna just give it up, if you're not gonna contest balls, if you're not gonna break on balls, if you're not gonna at least stick with your man and make the quarterback at least hesitate for a half a second so your defensive line can put their hands up or something, man, you don't need to be in there. I don't see any reason for him to continue to start going forward. Because here's the thing, man. You got some guys that can get there and can kind of cover that up, to be honest with you. I mean, it's going to force them to play a little bit, better, but Mike Hughes' worth right now is 0 to me. Based off of what I've seen on tape, I don't think Mike Hughes is a good case to continue to play bets because you're trying to win. Maybe I can make a case for David Onyemata. Like, all right, cool. David D.O. still give you there's still some value there. You still see him making plays. I want my best to give me best chance to win. That's a D.O. case, not Mike Hughes. Like, it doesn't matter. Like if I can put, I can doggone go out there and throw someone out there or a Natron Brooks or whatever, you know what I mean? Versus throwing a vet out there who's making a lot of money. I mean, it's not a lot of money in comparison to what other corners make, but just from a standpoint of what he's giving you, that's there's no value there to keep him on the field.
Yeah, I'm of a similar mindset. And it's funny because I mentioned this on the Falcons Squad show, and I'll mention it here. Like, I remember after the draft when the Falcons signed Cobee Bryant as their undrafted free agent, and people were like, "Oh, he's gonna take Mike Hughes' starting job," and I was like, "Guys, what are we doing here? Like this? No, he's not. He's an undrafted free agent. He's not going to take Mike Hughes' job." Not to mention, at that time, I was like, "Oh, the Falcons will be in a position at a certain point in the season where they do need to win games, and trotting out the rookie out there, throwing the rookie to the wolves doesn't make any sense." But we're here.
That's where we are. That's exactly
trotted out the rookie and Cobee Bryant, and again, he's played like 11 snaps on defense, so it's like, you don't want to sit there and overrate what your first 11 snaps are, but he's looked pretty good on those 11 snaps or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so might as well throw him out there. Might as well, see what you have. And I don't even know if CJ Henderson's still on the practice squad, but like at this point, like you do feel like there's got to be at least a change in the secondary, because this has been a through line for 6 weeks in a row. And even in the games where Mike Hughes was out of the lineup, when Keith Taylor and Natron Brooks were filling in, basically teams are just like, okay, well, we're just not going to throw at AJ Terrell at all.
Basically.
And, we've been here before with the Falcons. I remember 2021 when it was Fabian Moreau was the guy that was just like, getting picked on constantly. And I was like, I was defending Fabian Moreau because I'm just like, well, like what else? He has no pass rush. He has no, of course teams are going to, AJ Terrell's playing the best football he's ever played. Of course they're going to just throw at Fabian Moreau all day long, and he's going to get cooked in that. But like, you have a pass rush now, right? AJ Terrell's not playing at that level, right? He's playing good football, but not at the sort of like, oh, this might be the best cornerback in the league level that he was playing at in that 21 season. Mm-hmm. And so like to just see constantly this liability in the secondary. And, I don't think it's all on just like, oh, Mike Hughes is bad. I think some of it is a little bit of the Falcons doing some Jimmy Lake stuff with this, like, we're just going to play off coverage all the time because we're going to play certain coverages, cover 3, and we're not going to play any press man coverage. So like AJ's going to press, but nobody else is going to press. And we're just, again, conceding a lot of 5, 7, 10-yard throws to A.D. Mitchell last week. And, but,
it make my blood boil free.
I know. I didn't want to bring it up, Jarvis, because
man, that makes my butt itch, man. Like, seriously, because here's the thing, man. Like, a lot of times when you put corners in that off coverage, a lot of times they think it's okay for you to give up that 7 to 8 yard stop route when it's 3rd and 7. I don't understand it. It just makes no sense to me, because guess what? Normal corners, when the ball is snapped, they start backpedaling, right? So if you start backpedaling as soon as the ball snapped, you at 7 to 8 before a snap, pre-snap. Shoot, man, you at 10 to 12. And man, you know how many wide receivers gonna eat up all that little space within 2 to 3 seconds that they got to get the ball out? Because if you may or may not be sending pressure, Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a lose-lose situation. When you're playing like that, and then those guys take on that mindset too. It's like, all right, cool, coach, I'm doing my job. 7, 8 before the ball snap, backpedaling, make sure I'm giving a read, blah, blah, blah. They give it a little comeback, a little stop route. All right, cool. Give it up. Play another down. No, it's a first down. It's another set of downs. So I don't understand that mindset, man. And when I see Jeff Ulbrich doing it, that's what really makes me. I'm like, bro, come on, dog. You know what you do. Do what you do.
Yeah, it's an
I'd rather
identity
you go
issue.
down doing what you're doing
Yeah.
than trying to do something else because you're trying to supplement for whatever, like whatever backside corner that's playing over there, because ever since AJ Terrell's been here, man, we just spinning the wheel. Wherever it lands on, that's where it lands, and that's exactly who's gonna play. I'm just like, man, we ain't gonna get somebody over there that can play. Like, come on, get somebody over there that can play it and see what you can do with a strong secondary, man. Goodness.
Yeah. We'll see if the Falcons can get that guy, but yeah, to me, it's an identity issue. It's like you're be aggressive. Like, why are you being a punk? I don't know how else to describe it. Like, why are we doing this? Like, we talked about it 2 weeks ago with the Panthers game, and it's like, why are we doing this? Like you were one of the best defenses in the NFL for a long time, playing an aggressive style of defense. And again, I get, JD Bertrand scared the bejesus out of you where you went through those couple of games, but like you figure that out.
Nice not seeing him play defense.
They eventually figured it out. It took them a while. It took them a while, but they figured it out. And so it's like to be like this. I don't know. We'll leave it there. Because I know this is going to be like a 15-minute conversation, Jarvis, and we got to get in and out here on the podcast. But it's just like I understood when Dean Pease, and to a lesser extent, I'm not going to say I understood it with Jimmy Lake, but I understood philosophically why they were like, we're going to play bend but don't break. You don't need to do that now with this team anymore. And so that's why it makes it doubly frustrating where I'm just like watching Mike Hughes playing 11 yards off the ball and just speed outs, hitches, comebacks. And it's just like, and then when you're just like, again, we're not going to get into it. So let's talk more about that sort of win now versus youth movement in terms of talking about it in the context of this coaching staff being on the hot seat, because we had the report from Jeremy Fowler talking about that for ESPN this week, and sort of, we'll get your thoughts on what the Falcons should do, as well as what the Falcons will do when it comes to finding that balance of trying to win games, but also trying to play for the future. And we'll do that to wrap up today's Locked On Falcons. So, guys, if you missed it, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler and Dan Graziano, they do this weekly sort of breakdown of all the things that they hear from all their various sources throughout the league every single week. And, occasionally there's a tidbit about the Atlanta Falcons. And this week it was about Raheem Morris's job status. Is he on the hot seat? Will there be an in-season firing, which I know the listeners and 90% of the fan base is clamoring for at this point in time? Got to make a move there. And basically his report was that he doesn't think it's likely. He thinks the Falcons will be patient and they'll sort of make a decision at the end of the season on Raheem's status moving forward. But, this is part of a larger conversation, Jarvis, which, goes back to what I said earlier, which is, my push against Terry Fontenot and him being the GM of the team and the Falcons always being kind of reactionary as opposed to being proactive with addressing some of their concerns, where it seems like every year they're addressing a big need that was a need the previous year, but they ignored it the previous year. And cornerback, I think, is one of those positions that really stands out this year. Wide receiver is another position that you could also say that the Falcons are addressing a year too late. But that being said, I say that just because it would behoove the Falcons to play some of these young guys, especially these undrafted free agents, whether we're talking about Cobee Bryant, whether we're talking about a Nick Nash at the wide receiver position. See what you have, because you don't have a ton of draft assets. You've given up the first round pick. You've given up your 5th round pick next year. We'll see what happens. Terry the Trader is going to, and I see Trader, not Traitor. Terry the Trader. If he's going to get aggressive again to do whatever but you kind of need to hit on some of these undrafted free agents to make up for all the draft capital that you don't have.
Sure.
But then again, you have a coaching staff that, based off of what Jeremy Fowler is in, kind of needs to be to finish this season strong so that you can make your case for Arthur Blank to keep you. Terry's drafts be damned. At that point, I was like, Terry's on his own like that. I didn't do that. Like, if that's how the coaching staff is taking it. So I'm curious, Jarvis, when you think about all those things, how do you sort of square that? Do you look at that as they got to start playing some of these young guys like a Cobee Bryant potentially, as well as others? And do you think that they'll start doing more of that? We see more Dylan Drummond. We've seen more of Devin Tompkins.
Mm-hmm.
Did that quite work out, given Kadar Hodge wasn't out there? But, I'm curious, Jarvis, where do you sort of fall on the potential youth movement versus win now debate?
Man, I look at it like this. Do you trust your eyeballs? Do you trust your evaluation on a player? Yeah, because I go back to, I think Rod and Terry have said this in the past. He's like, man, these guys are on the roster for a reason. So if they're on the roster for a reason, you better not going to use them. Because otherwise, don't have them on the roster. Don't have them on your practice squad, because it's a reason why they gave you all those extra slots. So you can have some guys just in case something happens. And it doesn't have to always be injury. It can be suckery. If Mike Hughes is suckery right now, and that's what he's been for the past month and a half, he's been awful. He's been bad. He's been terrible. So what's worse than terrible? Can Cobee Bryant be worse than terrible? I don't think so. Because guess what? Those few plays that you talked about that he played, I thought that man played pretty solid. And guess what I did see when he got in the game? He was being aggressive. He was trying to actually do something, at the line of scrimmage. He got a little size on him, a little height, not size. He got a little height on him.
It's got everybody there. My man is built like a
165 at the East West Shrine game. That man was light as a boy. Ooh, he was like light as a feather. But no, man, like you could tell that he wants to be out there. He wants to go out there and compete, man. And that's my thing with Mike Hughes, man. I know I make a lot of jokes about how he's been playing and how bad he's been playing, but I don't see effort, in your play. I'm not saying he's going out there, man, I don't care. I'm just getting my chick trying to play. That's not what I'm saying. Based off of how he's playing, how he looks, whether or not he's making a conscious effort to try to go make a play. If he's saying, okay, I'm all right, I'm playing off coverage here. All right, cool. All right, good. If he made the play, I'm gonna go over here. He falling down. All right, I'm gonna go just touch him, tag him down. Nah, man, like make a play on the football. Act like you're trying. Like I said, man, I laid this out on the Falcons squad show. That one particular play, man, it was I think it was 2nd or 7th, 3rd, so I can't remember exactly what it was. And he ran a little stop route. Wide receiver fell down, was on the ground, cuddled up. The referee started running on the field, dang near, to spot the ball. And then Mike Hughes, doggone, tapping the man on the shoulder, like, oh, yeah, all right, cool. But D. Alford was doggone breaking on the ball before you did. He was closer to you, and he lined up at nickel. You were closer to the man than you were. Make that make sense? That don't make any sense to me. So if that's how you're going to play, if that's all you can do, if that's all you can give this team right now, man, hey, I'm making the phone call to Rob right now. If I'm Terry Fontenot, hey man, play that young boy. He gonna give you more effort than that. He's going to play harder than that. He's more likely to make a play playing like he's playing versus how Mike Hughes has been playing. So, yeah, man, if those young pups are out there doing their thing and you could tell that they want to go out there and eat and try to make a play for you, that's going to help you win more than what Mike Hughes is doing.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say, Jarvis.
I've left Aaron Freeman speechless.
Yeah, I mean, you said it all, my friend. You said it all.
This is the mark. We should.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it was just going back and watching the film and just was like, yeah, man, something's missing. Something's definitely missing. Yeah,
like that want to. You know, a famous philosopher, Hugh Douglas, always just say that. It's all about that want to. You can tell it. You can see it. You know it when you see it. You can't explain it, but you know it when you see it. And I don't see it with him. I don't. I really don't.
Yeah. And I'll say this because, like, I feel like that was there last year.
Yes.
I thought it was
absolutely.
At the beginning of the season. Like, the beginning of the season when he was going through his struggles, I'm like, yeah, well, some of it's safety's leaving him out to dry a little bit, you know, against some.
But he's there, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But then this past Sunday, it was just like, it's not there. You know? It's like, all right.
Nah, man.
I get it. I'm checked out, too. I would have been checked out a week ago. But, you know, that's why I'm not a professional athlete. That's why I'm a podcaster. But you know what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. Like, I'm not mad at him for being checked out because I'm checked out. But, like, at the same time, like, I get that's the human element of it, Jarvis. You know, these are human beings at the end of the day. But
yeah, free. Oh yeah, I ain't tell you. I'm sorry, I may cut you off.
No, that's fine.
You know, I came up with a new title. I'm a potamist. I give my opinion, and I podcast about it.
Okay,
potamist. You know what I'm saying? So, what you think about that?
You always put me on the spot, Jarvis. You always put me on the spot. You're like,
that was so random.
I got a new thing that I'm saying, and I'm just like, Jarvis, what do you want me to do with this? What?
You say you're a podcaster, so you know. Sometimes I say exactly what pops in my head when people say certain things. So I probably should have kept that to myself. So please feel free to edit this out. You know what I mean?
No, it's just like you always are like, you know, I'm workshopping something, and it's like, maybe you should keep workshopping it, Jarvis. That's all I'm saying. But
I've already put it on my Twitter profile. Ain't nobody said anything about it yet. So yeah, I'm sure somebody will say about somebody now because you know how people are. You know, it's fine.
It's fine. I still trying to wrap my head around it. You know, you just gotta give me these things.
Say it sucks. It's okay, man.
No, it's just like I'm still wrapping my head around it. So it may age better than it is right now in the first 15 seconds as I have to think about it. But like, I don't know.
Make sure we just pause so you can edit this out. Oh, 3, 2.
I'm leaving this in. This is all we got. This is all we got. So we will see if the Falcons will give us a little bit more to talk about this weekend when they face the Seattle Seahawks.
Yes.
And we will see if they rise up or lay down, all the puns intended. This weekend, we will be back, Jarvis, myself, Tenitra Batiste, with the same ridiculous energy to talk about this team Sunday afternoon on the Falcon Squad, hour-long post-game reaction after that final whistle. And then, of course, 30 minutes of yours truly going solo on whatever rants I'm going to go on in that rapid reaction immediately after that on Sunday. So continue to make Locked On Falcons, Locked On Sports Atlanta, where you can find it all. Your first listen until then on Sunday. And then, of course, Locked On NFL is going to give you the scoop on all things going on in Week 14 around the NFL. It is all part of the #1 sports podcast network in the galaxy, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.